Hey guys, so this week I'm bringing you a 20-minute lower body circuit, similar to last week's upper body circuit. Okay, but we're gonna hit the lower half today. So we'll have a 2-minute warm up, then we will have 7 moves that we are gonna cycle through back to back to back to back, right? We'll be doing each one for 40 seconds of work with a 20-second recovery / transition to the next move. And then we'll go through the whole circuit 2 times, right? So since we're working lower body, and then we'll have a cool down at the end, but since we're doing lower body, you can have some moderate weight choices. We are going to be working probably in that 10 to 15 rep range, depending on the tempo you choose to go at. But since, again, lower body, we can usually go a little bit heavier, right? So I have a couple of options there. And yeah, we're going to get going here. So we'll start with a 2-minute warm up and then get right into the circuit. All right, so first thing to warm up, we're just gonna take that knee and drive it up and then around and back to the front. Okay, so circle it to the back and then circle it to the front. And you can just stay still there. If you need to take a few steps to kind of reset in between, that's fine. Okay, just a few more here just to get those hips nice and open, work that mobility at the hip joint. All right, now we're gonna do a quad stretch with the hamstring scoop. So catch your balance, knees close, heel to the butt, and then extend that leg, heel down, and then scoop, reach for the floor, and then up to the ceiling. Other leg, hit that quad stretch, straighten that leg, reach, scoop it up. All right, so you feel the stretch through the front here, and dig that heel in, keeping that leg straight. You'll feel that stretch through the whole back of the leg. All right, now we're gonna take those feet wide, all right, and we're just gonna shift the weight side to side. So we're gonna shift it over so you feel a nice stretch through the inner thigh, and then take it the other direction. Now you don't have to sink super deep into this, just enough to feel that groin get a stretch. You can kind of put the hands on the leg there if that gives you a little better support. Get one more each way. All right, now we're gonna take it into a forward lunge. So we're gonna step it forward, we're gonna twist over that front leg, center it back up, and then step it back on that lunge. Try to get 90-90 with those legs. I'll show from the side view. Knees tracking in line with the toes. Brace that core. All right, get one more each side here. All right, let's get ready to jump in the circuit. So 7 moves. Our first move is a suitcase squat. So I want you to grab some of your heavier weights for this one. I've got 20s here, so I'm going kind of moderate, not super heavy. All right, but you're gonna hold those weights by the side, feet shoulder width stance there. We're gonna sink that butt down and back and keep that chest lifted. All right, and then squeeze those quads and glutes on the way back up. So in that squat, I want you to think about getting your hamstrings parallel to the ground if you can, getting the knees to a 90-degree angle. Make sure your heels are staying glued down. Okay, we don't want those heels to drift up. Make sure you're bracing that core. We can kind of find a nice even 2-2 tempo here. So maybe down for a 2 count, and then up for a 2 count. Inhaling on the lower, exhaling on the lift. We're here for just 6 more seconds. Get your last one here. All right, now we're gonna take it to an alternating lateral lunge. So I'm gonna go a little bit lighter here. So we're working a different plane of motion. All right, so for this one, we're gonna step it to the side. We're gonna frame the calf with those dumbbells and then step it to the other side, right? So again, chest stays lifted, butt is sitting back like you're sitting in a little chair right behind you there. Inside leg goes nice and straight. Again, knees in line with the toes. Great option here. If the stepping is too much, we're gonna plant the feet and we're just gonna shift that body weight side to side. All right, so great option there if you need it. Let me show you from the side view here. So butt goes back, again, chest stays slightly lifted. We don't wanna lean forward too much in it. All right, we're gonna keep that chest up. Put the work into the quads by bending that knee a little more. All right, next up, We're gonna come down to the floor. I'm gonna grab both of my weights for this one. I'm gonna go a little bit heavier here because we're working those glutes. So you can set one dumbbell across the hips like this, or if you want to go a little bit heavier, you can set them right on the hips this way. And we're just gonna press up. So feet flat, knees at 90. We lower down, tap the butt, and then we go right back up and squeeze the glutes. Right? Very simple move. So it gives you a great chance to put your mind on the muscles. So on those glutes, think about as you're pressing up, you're squeezing them. Okay, we're exhaling on that lift, inhaling on the lower. All right, and you can change the tempo here if you kind of want to rep it out and get more in. Go for it. Let's get one more. All right, go ahead and take those weights off. We're gonna now go to a split squat. We're gonna isolate a little bit. So I'm gonna go a little bit lighter on this one, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna step one leg forward. The other leg is back at about 90. We're gonna press up and lower back down, right? So again, knees and toes, tracking in line. If you need to go body weight on any of these and get rid of your weights, still a good move. We're gonna actually switch this at the halfway mark to get the other leg. Exhaling on the lift, inhaling on the lower. Go ahead and switch. Nice tall posture here. A slight hinge forward is gonna put a little more work into your glutes. So there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're not feeling any pull or strain in your lower back. You're gonna make it a little more glute focused. Last one. All right, we're gonna go to calf raises, so get some heavier weights now. We're gonna just keep a nice neutral stance with the feet. So little soft bend at the knees, feet hip width distance, and we're pressing onto the toes. All right, so again, another one you can play around with the speed on. These calf raises can be sneaky. Usually the first half it's not too bad, but then they start to burn. So I do want you to make sure as soon as the heel taps the floor, you go right back up. I don't want you resting at the bottom on this one. Since again, we're just going 2 times through the circuit, 40 seconds of work, so we're trying to pack in a lot of volume, a lot of reps in a short time. Got 8 more seconds here. Is it starting to burn yet? Mine are. All right, get one more. All right, now keep your heavy weights. We're gonna go to a Romanian deadlift, also known as RDL for short. So you're gonna have those weights right in front of you, right? Shoulders down and back, proud chest. Okay, lats are engaged because those shoulders are pressing down. Back nice and flat, soft bend at the knees. I'm gonna press the hips toward the back of the room while keeping that soft bend at the knees, and then lift. So bracing the core on the lower and exhaling on that lift up. I want you to think about feeling the hamstrings and the glutes stretch as you lower down into it, and then squeeze as you come back up. Right, really fight to keep that back nice and flat so we're not getting any rounding. Make sure your core is bracing so that you're protecting that lower back. I got 10 more seconds here. Stay in it, get last one here. All right, last move of the circuit. We're gonna go body weight. All right, you know something good is coming when you're just going body weight. So in 8 seconds, you guys take this nice wide sumo stance. All right, we're gonna sink down into it like a sumo squat. Put your hands together, you can say a little prayer, we're gonna pulse it out. We're just gonna stay really little in this movement. Just get those inner thighs a nice burn. All right, you guys are staying fairly tall in this one. Okay, so we're not hinging or hunching forward there. We're staying fairly upright. Okay, but those knees are tracking in line with the toes, and we are just sinking in and staying low in it. I know it's burning. We got 10 seconds here, and then we're gonna get a nice 1-minute recovery before we go through round 2. Hold there, and last one. Nice work, you guys. 1 minute to rest. That heart rate hopefully started to get up a little bit. Okay, when you're lifting lower body, working bigger muscles generally, so that heart rate might get a little more elevated than when you're doing upper body, right? So take a sip of water. If you need to stretch anything, you can stretch anything out. We've got another 35 seconds here, right? But yeah, most of the time on lifting days, you might, get to the point where you're starting to get a little out of breath, but generally that zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 is kind of where we're staying for lifting days, depending on what you're doing. But yeah, totally normal to, keep kind of like the lower half of your heart rate zones. But also very normal on your leg days to feel that heart rate start to spike a bit. All right, we're going in 7 seconds, and we are going back to the top with the suitcase squats. All right, so get those weights up. Okay, round 2 and final round. You know what? I missed my timer. So we're gonna stay here. I'm gonna give you another 10 seconds, and then we'll hit it fresh from the start at the 40 seconds. I don't want you guys to lose any work time here. All right, so we're ready. And we're starting in 3, 2, 1 in that suitcase squat. So sink into it and then press high. Make sure in your squats, your heels are staying glued to the floor. A lot of times we shift the weight to the front of the foot and that heel might lift. That can be really bad for our knees. So really think about putting the weight in those heels, right? Heels and the ball of the foot are kind of glued to the ground, right? Again, parallel with the hammies to the floor if you can. We got 12 more seconds. You can probably hear my knees making all sorts of noise, so I hope you have a good playlist that you're putting on in the background to drown out my knees crackling here. All right, last one, nice. All right, we're going to that alternating lateral lunge. Lighten the weight a touch. All right, find your stance here. Remember, your option is you can just shift side to side if the step is too much. All right, but I'm gonna step it out here. I'll do a couple front facing and then turn for a side view. Again, sit that butt back like you're in a chair. Work. Still working to try to get the hamstrings parallel to the ground if you can. Side view here. See if we can get a little more bend at that knee. It's gonna put more work to those quads and glutes. Just working a different plane of motion here because we're stepping side to side instead of front and back or instead of staying stationary. So nice little change up. Really control that descent. Last one. Nice work. All right, we're going to the hip thrusters next. So get your heavy weights. Again, single weight or double, and just stack them on your hips. I'll show the single weight option on this one, so if you want to set it right to the hips. All right, driving those glutes up. I'm going to rep it out a little bit since I'm a bit lighter here. I'm also going to lift my toes. You lift those toes up, helps to get you a little bit of extra glute activation. Again, inhaling on the lower, exhaling on the lift, squeezing that butt. Be really careful to just go for that nice straight line and not to overarch. If we take those hips too high, we could put strain on the lower back for overarching it there. So just work for that nice straight line from knees to hips to shoulders. Last one. Nice work. All right, coming into our split squats. So again, lighten up on your weights a little bit there. Find that split stance. 20 seconds each side. Show from the side view here. All right, one leg back, knee right under the hip, front knee right over the ankle. Lower it down and lift. Okay. The weight is kind of equally distributed across the front leg and the back leg. You might feel a little more weight on that front leg, but that's the one I want you to think about as you lower down and lift. Really think about squeezing that lead quad and glute muscles. Go ahead and switch. I missed a little time there, so we're gonna go into the break a little bit just to even it out. Okay, don't want you guys to miss out. Be uneven here. Again, if you want a little more glute activation, you can lean a little forward into it as long as your lower back isn't feeling anything weird. Let's get 2 more here. Nice work. All right, coming into those calf raises, so pick up your heavier weights. Right by the side. Show from the side view. Shoulder width stance. And pressing onto those toes. Exhaling on that lift. Mind on the calves. Makes such a difference when you actually think about the muscles as they're stretching or lengthening, and then as they're contracting or squeezing, like on that press up here, we're squeezing them. That really helps you to get more out of your movements. So as you're getting more comfortable with your lifting moves, really start thinking about where you're feeling it and putting your mind to that muscle. All right, we got our RDL, so keep your heavy weights. We're almost there, guys, so keep that form nice, keep that breath work going. Always exhaling on the hard part, inhaling on the reset. All right, RDLs, nice flat back, and we're hinging at the hips and squeezing those hammies and glutes. Try to get to about mid-shin if you can before you come up. Really careful with the back. Make sure if we're rounding like this, pack the shoulders down, engage the lats. Keep that chest nice and open. Keep your core bracing. A lot of times people might hurt their lower back on this move because they're not using enough core. We got to think about bracing that core to protect the lower back. This is also great to strengthen that posterior, the glutes, the hammies. Nice work, you guys. All right, last but not least, we got those sumo pulses. We'll level it up a little bit here. We'll add a weight for this last set, only 40 seconds. Take a weight, get that goblet hold on it. That helps you to stay a little more upright in the move anyway. Take those feet nice and wide, sink down into it, and we're pulsing it out. All right, so get those hamstrings parallel, and then we're just hanging out an inch or two above and below that. Keep breathing, feet flat, knees in line with the toes. Oh yeah, it's burning already. I probably shouldn't have added the weight. It's okay, we're already doing it. So we're over halfway at this point. Stay with it. We got 15 seconds to go. Can you get an inch deeper in it? Yes, you can. You got this. 10. We're almost there. 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh yes. Definitely felt the burn on that. Great job, you guys. Well done. Hope you enjoyed that circuit. Let's cool it down right now. All right. We're just going to go through a couple of static stretches so we get that heart rate back down. Grab the foot, heel to the butt, press those hips forward, and just feel that stretch through the quads and the front of the hip. Awesome work, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. Gotta love a leg day. So obviously great if you just need a quick 20-minute circuit to go through if you're short on time. If you want to tag that on to maybe a steady state cardio day, if you're going for a walk or doing the bike or something low impact, would be a great addition on a day like that. Or if you want to do this circuit but 4 times through or maybe 3 times through, if you have 30 or 40 minutes to give it, you could do that. And you can maybe focus on increasing your weight slightly as you go from, each circuit. First time through, maybe go super light or go body weight. Second time through, go a little bit heavier. Third time through, go a little bit heavier. Back leg straight, tuck your tailbone, squeeze the glutes on this back leg to help open the hip up. Arms overhead and tilt to the side. Just get those lats a little stretched since we were engaging them some for that RDL. Go ahead and straighten the front leg out, reach for the toes. Nice straight leg here, feel it all the way through the back of the leg. And then go ahead, switch to the other side. All right, back leg straight, tuck that tailbone, squeeze the glutes on that straight leg. Arms overhead, tilt to the side. All right, go ahead and straighten that front leg. Reach for the toes, hamstrings and calves here. And then we'll finish with a down dog stretch and a glute stretch. All right, so come on down to the floor. I'll come into my mat since I have it here. Go to that down dog. Head is hanging out between the biceps. Hips are up. Lower one, heel lift the other. And then just switch that every couple of seconds. Just get those calves. Nice stretch. Or if you guys want to pair this with the 20-minute upper body circuit, you can have a nice full body session with kind of a split feel, since you'll be focusing just on upper and then just on lower, which is great as well. Drive that knee through. Back leg straight, down to the elbows, open that chest, pigeon stretch. Try to square your hips off to the ground, so if this hip kind of rolls open, I want you to fight to square it off to the floor. You can inch the foot forward a little if you need a deeper stretch, but you should feel this on the glutes of your bent leg. All right, let's go ahead and switch, and then that'll be a wrap. Back leg straight, hips square, down to those elbows. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. Way to show up for yourself. I'm proud of you. I'll catch y'all later.